everybody. Welcome to our collaborative call. We are so glad to have you. If you have questions, you can go ahead and type them in the chat. And Jennifer will get to them at the end, or if it makes sense, as you ask it. But I am excited to have Jennifer on the call. So Jen and I have been friends for, oh my, probably 10 years.
It's about 10 years now. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe even a little bit more. But she is an amazing realtor. She has reinvented her whole life and even her business in sorts. She's got really great systems and tools, and she teaches funnels and niches, and she just has a wealth of knowledge. She's been a broker owner, a team leader, owned multiple businesses. And so I'm excited to have her present today. So if you have any questions, type them in the chat. But Jen, I will let you take it away.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to share my screen because I have some slides. Oh, not that one. Okay, you guys can see that?
Yes, we can.
Good. All right. So I'm double fisting. I've got coffee and green juice this morning and a whole bunch of speaker notes for each slide. So bear with me on this, but so here's the thing that I think we don't talk about enough in real estate is that we're all kind of in different seasons all the time, and I think it's okay to be in a season where you don't necessarily want to crush it, crush it, crush it, and missed all the family events. Or hold on, I'm gonna put this to where I can see some. Is everyone off camera except for you and I? Nobody goes.
Yes, they
Fine.
are. But you guys are welcome to turn on your cameras.
Well, I'm gonna just stare at you, Stace, because you are my bestie, so that's fine. But there's so much information out there between should you have a team and doing 100 million a year, and sometimes I feel like me especially, I'm speaking for myself, I get caught up in that. And the reality is I'm in a season of I went through a divorce a few years ago. I got remarried to the love of my life. I have kids for the first time ever, always wanted kids. Now I have 2 stepkids. And I'm in the season of not having to do a ton of business. I really only want to do about 10 to 15 deals a year. In my market, that can be about 25 million, because we have a higher price. I'm in San Diego. But I wanted to create some freedom in my life and figure out how I can be systematized on this and bring in, constant leads, but also have a lot of time and not have to, like I said, be caught up in the crushing it phase. So what I'm going to chat with you today about is really the messy middle. I've actually reinvented myself a couple times in the last few years, and I'll share, that with you. But instead of being, mad at myself about that, or, oh, I should have been doing this for 22 years or that for 22 years, I really just kind of went through this in a calm way of just going, how can I reinvent myself and create some niches for myself? So that's what we're going to talk about today. So just to give you brief synopsis, been in the business for 22 years. As Stacy said, I've owned my own brokerage. I had a team. I was on a team. I've had the high years. I've had the low years, kind of everything in between. But in September of 2023 into the end of last year, I had gone through a divorce, as I mentioned. I approached my mediator and said, I feel like there's a niche there that I can really serve these people at a high level because I've been there, I've done it, I've rebuilt now. And I want to give my value to this niche. You're going to hear me go back and forth between niche and niche. I literally in my brain, every single time I say the word, I'm like, is it niche or is it niche? So I'm going to go back and forth. But within that time period, I did 22 million in sales. And I honestly thought, hey, I like locked it in with this particular niche. I don't have to even think about past clients or anything else. I have a constant lead source from all of these mediators and attorneys. Like I thought that I had nailed it and I didn't have to do anything else. And then this year happened. And unfortunately, some things have changed in the divorce niche, and that's really driven by what's happening in today's market. People are nesting in their homes. They're no longer, selling. They're trying to figure out everything that they can do to keep their 2 and 3% interest rate in their home. So what I had in the pipeline completely just blew up in my face. And now I am reinventing into a hyper local niche. And I'm going to share that with you. But I truly am going to teach today from the messy middle and not from the mountaintop. So, all right. So let's just dig in just overall. We all know this, but I just want to break it down. So, why do niche, oh my God, now I'm like merging the two together. Why do niches work? So I'm going to look at my notes here for this one because this is really some good stuff. So niches work because they give you clarity, right? They help you with your ICA. They give you that absolute clarity on who you're talking to. You know exactly who you're talking to and how to talk with them, or how to talk to them. So that's number one, clarity on who you serve. They do give you and help build authority in that space. So people start to associate you with that expertise. I will say in the divorce niche, that was a little challenging because then all of a sudden I was kind of known as the queen of divorce. And that's not really what I wanted to share, is to have people think that you have to get divorced in order to work with me. But that did start to happen. So I did create authority in my space. The third one is they naturally, or they help you build systems and repeatability. So when you're talking to one person, you're building authority in that space, you're able to kind of streamline everything and create systems to that one person. So that really, helps us niche down. And then the last thing is, of course, they build referrals and trust. So they naturally bring people to you because you're known in that space. But here's the truth that I had to learn the hard way, is that even the strongest niches can shift. Markets change, client strategies evolve, and niches, unfortunately, ebb and flow. So I found myself thinking, what the heck do I do? Because even though I had been in the business for 22 years, I have to be very, very honest with you. I was not always great with my database. That has changed. That's something that really has have dove to this year. But I just was the type of girl that, and I don't mean this in an egotistical way, but people were drawn to me. I had a lot of referrals coming my way. I was able to just naturally engage with my clients. So when the market was good and people were buying and selling more than ever before, I was always on top. I would do an open house, always pick up 2 to 4 people and able to just run with those people. And that's how I built my business. It wasn't necessarily on the back end systems and a CRM and focusing in on those people. So here's what I had done in the divorce niche. I went all in. I created systems. I did events. I did monthly events. I still do it. So this is what I'm going to teach now. Is the leg started to break a little bit, which is where you really need to start concentrating on your lead generation sources and figure out if there's some breakage happening. And I noticed a break. And so now I'm creating the same framework that I did in the divorce niche to a new niche, to really figure out how I can rebuild another leg of my business. So I had systems, I had events, I had education, I had visibility around it. 22 million in sales was only in 16 months. So I was able to just crush it in that divorce niche. And again, I had built a reputation on Jen is the person that you go to if you're going through a divorce. I had $11 million in listings this year. So these were actually signed contracts, because what happens in the divorce niche is you really want to get them way ahead of the time. So I would go out there and evaluate their home for their financial disclosures through the divorce. And I would have them sign a listing contract after, so that I knew that I was going to be the one that they were going to list with when they decided to go that direction. So $11 million in signed listings. And some of that is people that had to buy too, once they sold. But that was all stuff that I thought for sure it was guaranteed income in 2025, not to mention the new leads that would have come in. But again, as I mentioned, all of a sudden they all decided, oh God, we can't sell. We're going to nest with each other. We're going to stay divorced and stay in the same home because we can't afford in this market in San Diego to go anywhere else. Or why don't you take the house and forego alimony and you get, the house? That was happening left and right. And I'm a part of that conversation. So the right thing to do with these people is to give them that strategy. Unfortunately, I talked myself out of business, but it was the right thing to do. Now, that leg is still working. The systems are still there. Will those people come back to me? Probably. But it was just all those signed listings that I thought I no longer had. So the lesson in that is even strong niches need evolution. And that's what I realized. All right, so enter what I like to call, I feel like this is a buzzword nowadays, is the messy middle. When what worked and always worked for me in the last few years with a quick ramp up to 22 million stops working. Literally just goes, sorry, bye-bye, no longer. Well, what it does, and nobody actually, there's only a few people on as far as faces, but has anyone ever felt like they're in the messy middle, like in their business? Yeah. Okay. And are you in it right now? I'm in it right now. So what it does is it really creates exhaustion, and it makes you start questioning this business. And it made me mad at myself for being in this business for 22 years and not seeing things maybe ahead of time. Or I should have always, called those people in my database. Or I moved into a new neighborhood last year and I've seen a lot of listings come up and I didn't even say hi to my neighbors. All that stuff, it made me start questioning. I was like, how in the heck did I get here? How did I pour everything into this one niche that was absolutely crushing it and working, and I had a pipeline built for, a year, all of a sudden explode? And so again, one thing that I also learned in this process is that is when I actually thrive in this section. Stacy knows me really well, and she's seen me, in those dips in the 10 years. And one thing I will say is I literally thrive on change, and I become super creative and I put my head down and I'm like, okay, what do we need to do? So creativity sparks new ideas and does create some wins. So now I'm going to go into my messy middle phase. I'm going to show you now what I've done in 3 months. And this is kind of how I feel like I was in the divorce niche. I could see it happening. I built the systems. I clearly did this framework that I'm going to teach you. And I was like, wow, I had at that point 10 million, I think, in sales in 3 months. And I was like, okay, I'm on to something. And so the same thing is happening in this little section that I'm super excited about. So I am starting fresh with a brand new niche, and that is called the hyper local, what I'm calling it, the hyper local niche. So I've identified my community. Again, I moved into a neighborhood that I did not even say to my neighbors, hello, I'm a realtor. Just decided, no, I really like my peace and quiet in my home and I don't want anyone to know who I am. So I focused on one community. I started hosting events and building connections that I'm going to show you next. I started creating funnels and local guides for this community. Now I'm in a community with 211 homes, but I'm in a bigger master plan community or area that has about 1,500 homes. So I'm starting with my local community, and then we'll continue to expand from there as the marketing dollars come in. So creating local guides and funnels. And then now I'm running digital marketing and ads. And here's what's happened in 3 months. So I have 6.7 million pipeline in 3 months. I have one active listing, one coming up next week. The one listing is a buy side. 3 more that neighbors have referred me to that I now have listing appointments to. And I'll show you too, one of the Facebook ads that I ran actually went to an old neighbor of mine that they then came to my open house this weekend and they need to sell and buy. I've also, in a very short amount of time, allowed or received over 50 new people in my database. And these types of numbers, again, were what was happening in the divorce niche, where all of a sudden I was seeing 20 people a month coming into my database, 40 people a month. And when you have that and it's on automatic, automations and those systems are there, it gets really exciting because now you're just talking to that new eyeballs that have, that are seeing you that you never even knew before. And they're new into your world and you can have, exciting new conversations. So here's some of the creative ones that I'm talking about. This is where I feel like I was a little invisible before because I was in one niche of the divorce niche. And so I was visible in that world, but I was invisible in my current world in my community. And now I'm kind of moving into that stage. What I like to say is irresistible, that, people are attracted to the value that I'm providing and, want to do business with me. So here's some creative wins. So I am hosting and co-hosting a monthly women's group called Sip and Thrive. And we basically partnered with all different people in real estate. We had a lender speak at our first one. We have a trust attorney speaking at our second one. All I did is post in community Facebook groups. We had over 20 people come to the first one. This is the people down here. This is the little Sip and Thrive event that we did. Now over 50 people are in my CRM with a Facebook page over almost to 60 people at this point. So this is now monthly and it's growing, and we're just giving free value around real estate. They know who we are. And that's a new way, creative way of getting people into my world. And then obviously getting those referrals. The second one I did is I said, okay, how am I going to get into my community? I've lived here for a year, don't know anyone. Really sad to say, because I'm a very extroverted person, but I would just say hi and bye. And so I'm like, how can I authentically get in? Well, Bunko is a great way to, gather your community together, especially with a bunch of women who like to drink wine. And this is the picture over here. And this little girl on the left-hand side needed to sell her home. Didn't know that, before, but now this is the listing that I have. And then this little girl back here called me, and she has a neighbor across the street that is going to be selling. So she introduced me to her. So that's the listing appointment I have next week. And then her sister needs to buy. So one Bunko party, and now I'm doing that every month. So we're rotating different houses, immediately did an ROI. That didn't cost me hardly anything because everyone brought a bottle of wine and I basically purchased dice. That's how that went. The third event that I started doing, this started at the beginning of the year, was I have a monthly walking group. Again, all I did is I like to walk. I needed to walk because I signed up for the Susan G. Komen 60-mile walker in November, which I now am not ready for. But so I knew I needed to walk this year. I'm like, how can I use that as a connection point? Authentically, I need to walk, but walk and talk with new people that are new into my world. So I posted in a couple Facebook groups, is anyone wanting to do a walk? 52 people are on my list. And here's one person that is like my mainstay person that comes every single month. But she shared it with other people on her Instagram. And then all of a sudden, new people came into my world through that post too. So being creative, doing things that you like, doing things that you normally do anyway, but getting more people into your world and then letting them know that you are a realtor, So the last thing I did is I created a neighborhood guide for my particular neighborhood because I love it so much. It's called Living in Rancho Tesoro. It's a lifestyle guide to one of San Marcos's best kept neighborhoods. And I just started that last month. Facebook ads went to it. I have 15 new people into my CRM. So I'm still tweaking the Facebook. Facebook ads are a whole different game. So it's not like I'm getting hundreds of people into this yet. But 15 people are into my world. And one of those people was my neighbor, my old neighbor from my last house that came to my open house and now is needing to list and buy. So that's kind of the creative win. So systems still matter. Systems equals stability. I had the divorce systems kind of kept me afloat and also helped me do the same systems for the new niche that I'm doing. CRM and follow-up are super important. And then so systems give you the baseline And that's when creativity can just kind of be stacked on top to really help you thrive. So here is the method that I realized that I was doing. This is the actual framework that I realized, holy crap, I had done one in the divorce niche. Oh my gosh. And then I now doing one in the hyper local niche. And it's actually a system. It's a methodical framework that I'm like, they all have to work together, because when one part is missing, it doesn't work in a quick enough time period. So here's what I created. One, you have to narrow your ICA. We've all talked about our ICA. You really have to know who you're serving and who you're talking to. And as you've seen, mine's changed. So a lot has changed in just 1 year on who I'm talking to. But the other leg is still going. Where I think most realtors falter in today's market is implementing systems and funnels first before you start connecting through events and community. And if you don't have that, if you don't have, unfortunately nowadays in real estate, we talk in lead magnets, sales funnels. There's way more language in our world now than ever before. But if you don't dive into that, and for me, I didn't want to spend to outsource that. I'm the type of agent that I want to learn exactly how to do all this stuff, learn Canva, learn Flowdesk, learn, how to create a lead magnet and do it. I needed to learn all of that, because then I feel like I can outsource easier because I know what the heck I'm doing. And let me tell you, there is power in being able to just do slides like this. I started these slides last night. It took me 10 minutes to create these slides, but I know Canva so well, and I'm a visual person, that I can just pour everything out, of what I need to do. I created that guide, the neighborhood guide, in 2 hours. And that there is power in that you can just switch and create marketing information and pump it out when you have an idea. So C is connecting through events and community. You have to have that. Stacey and I literally just touched on this before the Zoom call started. I think everyone's zoomed out. Like, I'm zoomed out. I don't attend half the stuff anymore because I am zoomed out. And we need to now connect again in person and figure out who your community is in order to really get to, my feeling is, in order to get to the next level and thrive and continually have lead flow into your world, you have to be face to face nowadays. So how do you do that? And then harnessing marketing for visibility. So that's social media, YouTube, podcasts, however you want to be visible in today's world, that's what you have to do. And then where another area that I realized that I was faltering too is the E is you really have to engage and continually expand creatively. So maybe you have, NICH already done, but if it's not working the way it used to, if that system is broken, then how can you constantly expand creatively in order to revive that pipeline and get that out? All right, so the niche in action. This is exactly what I did, NICHE, on two local or two niches. See, I go back and forth. Niche, yeah. So the divorce niche, I narrowed my clients to divorcing couples. I implemented an entire new way of doing a CMA for those clients because it's very specific for divorce clients. I did divorce consultations. I connected with divorce professional referrals. That's the implementation of those systems in the back end. I connected, hosted monthly educational webinars. I harnessed my marketing, divorce branding, and social visibility around it. I engaged, I created an entire concierge program for all things divorce. I created walking groups for divorce, and I created courses for them. I have digital products for my divorce clients. Now in the hyper local niche, I narrowed it to my community homeowners. I'm creating systems, which is the neighborhood guides, the funnels, the CRM follow-up automations. I'm connecting with them, Sip and Thrive, Bunko, Ladies Nights, harnessing the marketing between neighborhood marketing, Facebook ads, open houses. And then I'm engaging. I'm constantly expanding neighborhood connections. One of the things that came out of the Bunko group is they were in different homes, you know, the last couple months. So we're doing a home tour for Christmas, and we're going to have, you know, like a wine tour, but it's going to be a home tour that people can see how people decorate. So I'm putting that whole thing on the fourth quarter. So the framework is repeatable in any single niche. So I'm going to end this with this. Here's your challenge. Your challenge is to figure out which part of the niche framework do you need most. And I really was thoughtful about this, you know, creating my own legs of niches, because it is, I really, really believe you need all of these working harmoniously together in order to have some serious quick wins in order to then, you know, continue out building systems. So do you need to narrow your ICA? Do you need to implement those systems and, you know, get that automation happening so that who you're talking to has a way to go through a funnel to reach you? Do you need to connect with new events or people, or, you know, just connect with them more? Do you need to harness your marketing? I'm not great on Instagram. I'm starting to get a little bit better on Instagram, but the visibility piece for me has been a challenge. As much as I like talking, this is a normal format for me. For some odd reason, social media is like not normal for me. And so the fifth one is to engage creatively. So again, if you have 1 through 4 all dialed in, but you're not seeing the same sort of lead generation or ROI as you did last year or the year before, think about just engaging creatively again. How can you get into the world again in a new way? You don't have to break the whole system. Again, my divorce leg is still going. I'm not breaking the whole system, but I'm just now figuring out how to engage with that group more creatively to try to get new people in my world in the divorce niche so that that doesn't break the way it did this year. So I truly believe that the messy middle is a way to reinvent, and it equals reinvention, but systems stabilize you, creativity makes you irresistible. And I hope what I've given you in the niche framework gives you some momentum and you realize that it really is all interconnected. But it's the same method I used to build $22 million divorce niche, and it's the exact same one I'm using now to dominate in my own backyard with a lot of new quick wins. So let's connect on social media. I created everything I just showed you. I have in an actual framework with questions. I'm about ready to finish it. So if you go to this QR code, you can download that, and it will be in your email tomorrow. But yeah. So do we have any questions?
If you have any questions, you can either raise your hand, unmute, or type it in the chat for sure. But here, let me take a picture of that QR code. Hold on. There we go. How do you scan a QR code? Oh, are you on your phone, Lars? Just take a picture of the screen and then you
Oh
can go back into that
yeah.
photo.
All right. I knew you guys would tell
Lars, I
me
didn't
to.
know you were on here.
Of course, you think I'd miss this? You're
Aw,
amazing. And your point is it's so on point. I was just texting with Stacy. I'm like, if anyone actually knew of all the agents that could be here today, if anyone actually knew how awesome you were, the whole zoomed out and
oh,
like the goods you're delivering are just awesome. And I just hate it for agents that are zoomed out and they didn't take time to be here today. So this was so good.
thanks, Lars. I appreciate it. Yeah, I feel like it's just a conversation that a lot of people aren't having lately too. Like you know, this market's been challenging. We all have to kind of reinvent and tweak, and if we're not just continuously doing that on a day-to-day basis, you know, we may not thrive. Like it is that crucial, I feel like, for people to really dig into all parts of this wheel. However you do it, it's just I feel like it's very crucial nowadays.
Yeah. I love too how you brought to light that there is a messy middle, and you can be there. It's okay. You can admit you're there. You can also thrive there and find the things that light you up, that make business fun again, and start with something small. So I think that's just so great because you're right. A lot of times the people that we mostly listen to are some big something, or we think they are. And
Yeah.
then we're like, well, I could never do it. We get overwhelmed and don't start. And so I love that you were just so real about everything and like, hey, this is what I'm doing. And like, it makes me, I don't even know how to play bunco, but now I want to. Like, it just is so
Well,
good.
one thing I didn't share that you're actually just making me realize too, or remember. So when I started that walking group, I started the walking group at the beginning of the year because of, like I said, I signed up for this thing and I was like, oh God, I need to walk. And in it, one of my divorce, I originally started it for divorced women. And so we had, 10 or 15 women come in the first one and they were walking. And one of the women said to me, and this is my first aha about the divorce niche, because I could see that some of my deals were blowing up. And I was like, what is happening? And I thought, okay, I've done enough business in this niche that they'll at least refer me. She said to me on that walk, I sold a $4 million property for her. She lives in Rancho Santa Fe, which is an amazing place in San Diego. And she said, hey, Jen, she goes, I wanted to tell you something. She said, I really wanted to refer you to my friend that was selling her house, her direct next door neighbor, because you did such an amazing job for me, but she's not getting divorced. And I just thought it's not a right fit. And I was like, oh my Lord. That is when like the aha moment went off. I go, I just lost at that point a $5 million listing on somebody thinking that I'm so in this niche. I had branded myself and just put myself in this bucket that there's also you got to think about that too, depending on what niche you're choosing. I had to realize that I had aligned myself so much with that divorce client that it actually screwed me a little bit in the end. And I thought, wow, I need to like bring on this other leg to be, that's who I want to be. I'm now not divorced, I'm remarried, I'm happy, so I need to be in this lane, and that can just be a specialty leg. And I had to redo the marketing. I had to, speak a different language. I had to redo it all because I had pegged myself into a hole that ultimately people just thought that's all the people I'd help.
Yeah, so
So,
easy to do for sure.
yeah.
Kristen and Lindsay, did you have any questions or anything? I saw you wrote some stuff in the chat, which was super cool. Jen's helping Lindsay with her niche and it's starting to pay off. And Kristen said, I'm a fan too. So good at this, Jen. Great content.
So
Well,
these
I
two
think,
girls, oh,
well,
sorry.
I love what Jen does too. First of all, her ability to just share and like openly share, because I think agents, people don't do that. Not even just realtors, like, you share your ability to share your information authentically and just be like, here's what I'm doing is such a gift. And you do it so well. I mean, it's such a great, even the word niche and the play on niche. Now I'm going to remember that, So it's like, you're really good at that. But the other thing that's really great is it's like, hey, if you're not a tech person, you can do the event thing. Like you give people so many different things where it's like you could just take one of these things that you gave today and run with it. It doesn't have to be the 5 steps or all the steps. It's like one little piece. Or if you're so introverted and techie, creating these guides and that whole back end system. So that's what I love about what you deliver too, is it fits anybody with every in any capacity. You could do it all, or you can do one tiny portion. So thank you.
So these two girls, this is what I love about this call right now too. So Kristen and Lindsay, I have a mastermind group in San Diego. We actually have a girl that's in Las Vegas too. But they are not with EXP. So we have a mastermind group and we all just provide value, and who knows if they'll ever join, me over at EXP, but it's about being collaborative and really just helping each other, through this. And I love to teach, so they're kind of my guinea pigs all the time. But this is great too, because they're not even at EXP.
I love it. I love the collaboration for sure. Oh, Addie said, yep, totally agree, Kristen. Can figure out the strategy that works for you.
And let me share one thing too. This is actually a real world example. Lindsay actually, put it in here. So Lindsay lives in a place called Ramona on land in San Diego. And I've known Lindsay for years. She actually used to be at my brokerage when I had my own brokerage. And so I said to her, I was like, you're dealing with rural property. And she has the cutest, I mean, everyone should go follow her. It's called Rad Living Ranch, but she's got the cutest farm stand, and she's connected with all the local community for all of her produce and different things that she offers there. But I'm like, Lindsay, you have to blow that up. This is your client. This is your ICA. This is who you're talking to. You already have the events. They come to your farm stand every single weekend. You need to package this, and this is, this is your person. So now it's been what, 3 months, Linz, and now all of a sudden you're crushing it. You've got people coming into your world that are exactly who you want to talk to.
Yeah, it is working. I definitely honing in on my ICA and being able to target that person and all of my social media. And I feel like just putting it into the universe too, of like knowing exactly who it is that I'm trying to connect with. Everything is just sort of coming to me now. Like I'm not at a place where I'm having to chase it. And it's really organic. I just now need to organize like my digital products and be able to give people the lead magnets so that I can start getting them into my system, because now I'm really seeing like kind of scrambling, like, oh gosh, like how do I handle all these people that are reaching out?
Yeah. Yep. Awesome. Yeah. That
Super
was fun.
cool. Well, thank you, Jen, so much for presenting. This was awesome. We'll post the recording too on our page so that if you guys want to go back and watch it. And thanks so much for your time. Oh, do you want to put up your QR code again, just in case people didn't get it?
There you go.
Awesome. Thank you. Perfect. So grab that quick. And thank you guys for coming. Thanks for sharing. We appreciate it. And thanks, Jen. I hope you guys all have a great day.
Thank you, everyone.
See ya.
Bye.